This is an interesting one. It's thought that most of us have probably had in the workplace from time to time, you've mostly probably thought about this, your boss. They might be in charge, but I wonder if they could do my job. Everybody always talks about that. Could they actually do my job? Well, workers at one Gateshead company have unwittingly found out just how good the boss is. ITV's Undercover Big Boss sees CEOs going, you guessed it, undercover on the shop floor, often with pretty surprising results. And tonight's episode sees Robert Forrester, who is chief executive of Bristol Street Motors, struggling to do what his company does every day, which is actually sell a car. I'd be terrible at that. Well, BBC Radio Newcastle's Colin White caught up with Robert to find out how he got on.
I am kitted out to look nothing like my normal self, and I am put into the business, which I've run for 15 years, with a backstory that I'm an academic from Aberystwyth who lectures history, looking for a new career and want to try out new careers. So that's the scenario. Clearly, you've got to have an explanation of why you've got a film crew following you.
You were approached by ITV to do this. How much persuading did you take?
I didn't need too much persuading. I'd seen the programme before, and actually we concluded that with the pandemic and the fact that I've been in Newcastle a lot more normally, I normally spend my time travelling around all the dealerships. Well, with lockdowns, it's a lot harder to do that. So I felt 2.5 weeks undercover would be a good thing. I think it's a good thing anyway, because, if I go to a dealership, they do recognise me, they do know who I am, and you never quite see things that, if it wasn't me, I would actually be able to see things differently if I was undercover. And then thirdly, I wanted to assess how are our processes, how are people coping, for example, with mental health issues following the lockdowns, what is actually happening on the ground.
Obviously, without giving too much away, was there plenty that you did discover that you simply would not have been able to find out through any other means?
Yeah, I think there was actually, because people will open up to you a little bit more. You have the ability to see things that may not have been done if I was there in my official capacity. There was nothing that shocked me, I'm brutally honest with you. There was a lot of, well, we need to tighten that up, they should really be doing this. For example, on the first day I arrived at Newcastle Vauxhall to find the floodlights on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, you think, well, that's a waste of resources.
Yeah.
Now, I suppose if I'd have rocked up there, I would have spotted it normally. But to spend 2.5 weeks with nothing to do apart from go around your business nationally, I think is very valuable. It gave an insight into some issues. I think, one, you can always improve on basics. I actually dictated to my commercial director every night the learnings from the day. And then when we came back, we had a 2-hour board meeting of our operational team and went through all my findings, which were lengthy. And I think that's inevitable, to be honest. The good news was there was a big focus on customers, which I thought was great. There were some very, very talented, enthusiastic people. On the downside, I found quite a lot of youngsters, let's call them that, who had talent but lacked confidence. They lacked confidence to progress their careers quite aggressively. And I didn't fully understand why that was. And that's something that we clearly need to provide more support to people and more structured programs to give them the confidence that they can progress through the company. And that was a little bit of a surprise there for me.
In theory, you, as an individual and your entire company, had quite a lot to lose by exposing yourselves in this way. Was it all worth it?
Oh, no, definitely. It was worth it on a personal level from the experience. 2, it was worth it on a business level. Clearly, people will have their own views when they've watched the programme. I will let the viewers decide.
That's so interesting, isn't it? Robert Forrester, Chief Executive of Bristol Street Motors there. And if you fancy having a look at that programme, I think it's an interesting one. You can see Undercover Big Boss tonight at 9 o'clock on ITV.